You ride your luck, you take your chances, and he takes more than most.
First touch from Chicharito. Does that touch the left arm? From that point of view, it does.
Here's Delgado. Vasquez. Oh! Stefan Fry caught out. Victor Vasquez. A signal to his son in the crowd. How about that? Leo loved it. So do the LA Galaxy as a whole, but my word, Seattle, when your luck is out, your luck is truly out. Diaz bouncing away from Brugman. Rui Diaz and Rowe, and Seattle are not done here as Kellen Rowe arrives to sweep in just his third goal as a sounder. Rui Diaz! How about that from Seattle? Such pressure. Galaxy are wondering about a possible offside in the midst of this. But Seattle celebrate for the first time this season. They've come from 2 down. To Alex Roldan, whose first touch was poor. Ladero. And the header by Gomez Andrade. Loose ball turned in by Jordan Morris. And Seattle have turned this game on its head in the space of 20 minutes. In that last incident in front of Stefan Fry.
Yeah, it was the header from Depew that hits what it looked like from our angle. It hit Nuhu, but it actually looks like it hits the left arm of Arriaga.
Galaxy led 2-0. They trail 3-2. This is a shot at redemption. It's Joveljic! And the man who calls himself the future of the LA Galaxy puts a much brighter perspective on the evening's proceedings.
But how big time has Joveljic been stepping up in key moments? 10 goals in 2022 for the LA Galaxy, all 10 of those at home. And what a big one that was as Chicharito's on the bench, watching Joveljic tie this one 3-3.
So first things first, Friday night soccer needs to be a thing. I know with the new Apple TV deal in the MLS, the games, they announced that most of the games will be played on, they said every Wednesday and every Saturday. Now, we're not in 2023 yet. It's still the 2022 season. So nothing is officially official until we get to 2023. The league can still make changes up until then. But the word from the MLS on the day when they announced the Apple TV deal, they said every game, every match, every Wednesday and Saturday. Now, one thing we have to remember is that this new MLS TV deal is not only Apple TV. Apple TV is part of the total package. They're still negotiating a deal with one of the traditional cable networks. And at this point in time, I don't know who's the forerunner. My suggestion, I would love for it to be ESPN. However, with the large amount of change that's taking place in this country, and the fact that we are witnessing different businesses testing out and trying new things, different companies interested in sports, in broadcasting sports, because they see the amount of money that they can make off of it. Maybe it doesn't have to be ESPN. Remember earlier this year, there was reports that Warner TV, or Warner Cable, they were interested in the MLS, but at the time, they could not really have negotiations. They couldn't have talks with the MLS because they were in the process of merging with Discovery. I believe that this merger is fully completed by now, because earlier this year, they're in the early stages of merging. That was like in March, like February, March. We're here in August. I believe those two should be settled now, because there was word earlier this year that Warner Media was interested in talking to the MLS to be part of their new TV package, broadcasting package. But because they're in the process of still merging with Discovery, they couldn't really have serious negotiations with the MLS at the time. Now, this was back like in February, March. We're here in August now. So those two sides should be settled by now. And if they're not fully settled by now, they should definitely be fully settled before Thanksgiving. So what if TNT and TBS become the linear broadcasting platform for the MLS? So instead of MLS games being historically broadcasted on ESPN and Fox, now starting in 2023, they'll be broadcasted on TNT and TBS. U.S. men's, the national team, they signed them and Warner Media have an 8-year deal starting next year. So that means the U.S. men's national games with Christian Pulisic and Tim Weah and Matt Turner, we'll be seeing them play on TNT and TBS starting next year. And this can be interesting. We already know what Fox can do when it comes to broadcasting MLS games. We already know what ESPN can do when it comes to broadcasting MLS games. And to be honest, they don't do enough. They don't do enough. They try to make up for it on game day when the game is actually being played, but they don't do enough to provide storylines to entice people, to compel people to really want to watch the games before and after. Maybe Warner Media can do a better job. Anyhow, whichever the case is, Friday night soccer needs to be a thing. Similar to how the NFL has Monday night football and Sunday night football, they've been doing this for multiple decades. Friday night soccer and MLS After Dark needs to be a thing for multiple decades. Who's your competition on Friday night in the summertime, MLS? It's just Major League Baseball. That's your only competition in the summertime when it comes to sports being played on a Friday night. And the same with Saturday, just Major League Baseball. We know Major League Baseball is declining in numbers. We don't even have to do research to know that Major League Baseball is declining. Just look at the games, the amount of empty seats in those large stadiums. Now, when it comes to in the fall now, your competition on Friday night was just high school football. But when it comes to major professional sports, maybe NBA, but that sport is also declining too. Because their superstar players are not really into basketball. They're more so just into their personal brand. A lot of the superstars don't really care about winning championships. And a lot of those NBA stars that are considered stars should not even be superstars. Because how can you be a superstar when you don't have any championships? How can you be a superstar when you just bounce around different teams? How can you be a superstar when you're a cancer to every franchise that you go to? How can you become a sports superstar based on how many likes you get on Instagram? That's the NBA for you. So MLS, you can really take over Friday nights and Saturday nights. Now, also in the fall, you got college football. Okay, the Pac-12 is not going to be a competition to you. Pac-12 After Dark. People are not going to stay up late at night to watch Utah and Arizona State. Like, maybe just people in the Southwest, but I'm talking about like nationwide. That's not a nationwide draw. Now, after the 2026 World Cup, the real competition on Saturday nights is going to be Big Ten After Dark. Your USC, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Stanford, Notre Dame. Big Ten After Dark is going to be the real competition. By then, Pac-12 will be dead. However, MLS, you can still compete with Big Ten After Dark. Why? Because most of the people that are diehard college football fans are not millennials. Neither are they Gen Zs. Most college football fans are Gen X and baby boomers. And we know those two populations combined now. Those two populations are slowly dying. They're slowly passing away. And millennials and Gen Z fan bases continuing to grow. This is why you can compete with college football. Once upon a time, I did not believe that you could compete with college football, MLS. But now how I see how the country is growing, the country is changing, people's views and people's interests are changing, you can compete with college football. College football is not this big giant that a lot of people are portraying them to be. NFL, NBA, they're not this big giant that people are trying to portray them to be. Here's another advantage you have, MLS. Your Latino population, Latino Mexican American population. That number continues to grow in America. And they probably will eventually become the biggest population in this country. I don't know when, but it's just hypothetical. I'm just hypothetically speaking. That is the group, MLS, that is going to help your sport grow. That is the group that is going to help you surpass the college football, the Big Ten, SEC. They're going to help you surpass the NBA and the NFL in popularity someday. Oh, and also Major League Baseball. They are eventually going to help you surpass those leagues in popularity. That is one group, MLS, that you really need to build a strong bond with. Because that group right there is going to help you grow. This is why the League MX MLS Leagues Cup is pivotal. It's not only important for League MX sustainability, it's also important for your sustainability and growth, MLS. Anyhow, I don't want this to be a long monologue. It's just Friday night soccer, Saturday, MLS After Dark needs to be a thing. It's good that Seattle didn't lose, even though I believe they should have won, because the handball rule, it needs to be tweaked. The handball rule needs to be more based on intent rather than accident. That handball by the Seattle Sounders player in the 90th minute, that looked more like an accident. He was going for a header. Now, an example of a handball being intentional was Giorgio Chiellini from LAFC a couple weeks ago, looking like he was trying to play volleyball. Anyhow, it ended in a tie, and good thing the Sounders didn't get eliminated. I mean, if they would have lost that match, they would have unofficially been eliminated from playoff contention. No way the Sounders could have bounced back for the rest of this season if they would have lost that match. So that's that. There's the road to Decision Day 2022 is the final stretch. A lot of big matches this weekend, this Saturday. Every game counts from here on out. So enjoy your MLS Saturday. I'll talk to you later.